Good morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about how I went from the couch to running a marathon in just 1 year. Good morning. Today we're at the track and I have to do 3 minutes fast, 2 minutes slow, times 7. I already warmed up. I came running from my house here, and the way that we're gonna do this time is we are going to keep my heart, my beats per minute over 70% on the fast 3 minutes, and then under 70% in those 2 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. I've been really stressed this week. I've been traveling a lot. I was in 3 different states in 3 different days. Was I in 3 different? No, I was in 4 different states this past week, including North Carolina, which is a trip on a plane, and it was an hour and a half each way, but I had to wake up really early to go to the airport, and my heart rate has been super elevated the whole week, so like 10 beats per minute higher than usual. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna give it my best. Of course, disclaimer as always, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a coach, I'm not a doctor, so the fact that I did things this way does not mean that you can follow all my steps, okay? This is for informational purposes only. This is what I did, this is what worked for me to be able to complete a full marathon in a year. So I think for the 2 minutes slow, I'm gonna have to almost walk. So I'm gonna tell you guys about how I went from coach to marathon in a year. So really, I was not a runner whatsoever. I've never been a runner. I used to complete the kilometer in high school when they actually tested us, like in high school. Yeah, in high school, like 9th, 10th, 11th grade. I usually did it in like 60 minutes per mile, but it was just a kilometer. So that's my cue to keep on running. So yeah, initially I started running because my brother dared me to run a 10K with him in 2016. So the 10K is the largest 10K in Spain, and we were going to go to Madrid, Spain, to spend the Christmas holidays with my family. So my brother signed up for it, and I had told him that he signed up for that 10K, I would sign up with him. So he told me, now you're gonna put your money where your mouth is and run this with me. So naturally I had to start training, some kind of training. So I went out for a run just around my neighborhood, and of course within the first kilometer I was completely out of breath. I didn't have weight to lose or anything like that. I've always been kind of petite my whole life, really. So it was not an issue of losing weight, it was an issue of getting fit to run. So I could not do it. I was like really out of breath. So I told my brother, he had been running for a little bit at that point, maybe a year or so. So he sent me a training plan. That's my cue to run again. So he sent me this link to a website, Spanish website that taught you how to alternate while walking, so you could actually walk a full kilometer So I use that to train. I don't think I can find that link, or otherwise I would link it below. But you guys, if you're interested, the Couch to 5K training plans are a lot like that, or the Jeff Galloway plans, they're like that as well. They actually have a video, but they run walk Jeff Galloway's program. I'll link it up here so you can go check it out, and it will be below as well. But I use that to train for my 10K, and I went progressively getting strength. And what happened along that process is that I really started enjoying running a lot. I got runner's high the first time that I ran over 6 kilometers, over a 6K, and then I was hooked. So I kept telling my brother, after this 10K, during the Christmas holiday in Spain, I am going to prepare for a half marathon. And my brother was like, yeah, right, whatever. You know, she's gonna forget. So I went to Madrid, Spain for the holidays, 2016, with my family. I ran that 10K and I absolutely loved, you know, running a race. So my brother actually gifted me, again, I have to run. Yeah, my brother had gifted me during that Christmas break the book by Runner's World. I'm drawing a blank right now what it's called. The big book of half marathon and half marathon training, I think it is, but I'll link it below. And I read it on the way back from Spain on the plane, and it just said, okay, I can do this. I can totally do this. So I went on Runkeeper, and at the time Runkeeper is an app that you can download onto your phone, and it trains you. You put there your level of experience running, and then it just presents different training plans to you. You pick one and then follow the instructions. So I started using that and signed up for the Love Run Half Marathon in Philadelphia. And all throughout the training, I felt really good, really empowered. I was, you know, quickly not walking at all. And I just loved all that training. I was super motivated. Okay, running fast again. One of the things that really helps me out is having the support of my family, my husband especially, because he didn't mind me going out for runs. And the long runs, when you're training for a half marathon and you're not really in shape, you can't run that fast. They're long. I mean, you're out there for a while. But I have to say, Runkeeper prepared me really well for my half marathon. I met, through another friend who's not a runner, I met my friend Jennifer. My friend Andrea introduced us. Andrea's not a runner, Jennifer is. And we met to run the Love Run Half Marathon. We hit it off. I think we have run pretty much everything together since that one race. She runs a lot more races than I do, but everything that I run usually is because she's running. So if I'm gonna pick a race, typically it's a race that she's gonna run as well. Although I have run a few races by myself, but I digress. So, see, I have to keep my heart rate under a certain threshold, and talking during my slow intervals is not helping at all. Anyway, so I was aiming for a 2-hour 30-minute half marathon, which that was based on what the book, the Runner's World book that I mentioned, really was indicating that I could do. based on my 10K pace. And I ended up doing 2 hours and 18 minutes, which was phenomenal for a first half marathon. Now, I was in pain after that for a good week. I remember crossing the finish line, going to the porta potty, getting in, and thinking, how am I gonna get out of here? Because everything was hurting. Like, I had cramps everywhere. My arms, my belly, my waist, my tush, my legs were like on fire. So definitely made it to that half marathon. I did really well for, you know, the 2:30 that I was aiming for. However, there was a lot of room for improvement, as other races I ran, you know, proved to me, and I am going to try and continue to improve. But after that one, I ran a couple other races here and there, and then finally a couple months after that, I thought, oh, let's look into running a full marathon. So as you guys see, it's not like I woke up one day and I said, okay, I'm gonna do couch to marathon in 12 months. It was not like that at all. It just progressed naturally. It was just my hunger for a challenge that really kept me going. So I ran again with another Runkeeper free off-the-shelf program, marathon program. I signed up for Marine Corps. I actually signed up for the lottery for New York City, but I did not get in. So as second thoughts, I signed up for Marine Corps Marathon. We have a very good friend who used to live in DC, so he actually offered to stay with him, and so we did. And I ran Marine Corps Marathon in October, so I think it was October 22nd. Now, I do have a video about my experience running Marine Corps Marathon. I have it up here, you can go check it out. I hit the wall. Like, oh my God, it was bad. It was bad because, and I knew that I had hit the wall because by mile 20, mile 19 I would say, everything was hurting, but everything. Like, I remember having pins and needles in my ears. I would touch my nose and I would have pins and needles on my, like, on the top of my nose. It was so bad, you guys. Like, really, really bad. I was not prepared at all to run that. I had trained really, really hard. I put in my long runs. It was a very hot summer and you have to train through the summer, and it was just not a good marathon. I mean, the experience was great and I felt very accomplished at the end, but it just wasn't an experience that I actually would recommend anyone, because I think I consider myself a fighter. So once I ran that marathon, I really wanted to run another one. But it was a tough summer because, again, for those long runs, you have to disappear from your home Sunday mornings, typically. In my case, Sunday mornings, you have to do one long run a week. And once you start adding mileage, you're running like 14 milers, 16 milers. I know one is a 20 miler typically. That 20 miler was like 5 hours. So you disappeared out of your house Sunday morning for 5 hours. I thought my husband was gonna end up divorcing me. But, so I thought, okay, I'll just stick with half marathons. I'll try and improve my half marathon time. I'll just stick with half marathons, even though I really wanted to sign up for another marathon. But then one day we're actually having dinner at a restaurant shortly after my Marine Corps Marathon, like very shortly after. Maybe a couple weeks, and my husband says, I think, you know, if you really want to run another marathon, you really have to run more, because you know, you didn't have a good experience with Marine Corps. So, you know, I did 5 hours and 23 minutes, by the way, in Marine Corps. It's not like I was there, but basically after mile 20, I walked a lot. I mean, a lot. I could not run. I was in so much pain, even walking. I for sure had thought I had broken something running that marathon because everything was hurting. So I was like, okay, once I cross the finish line, it's not gonna go away. I'm gonna go to the doctor and they're gonna tell me that my knees are broken or my hips are broken or something because it was so much. I mean, I don't want to sound like, but definitely if you guys are watching this thinking I want to run a marathon, I would give it a little bit more time. It also is going to depend on your baseline, how much you're exercising currently. But I would say for me, I actually aim too high too quickly. I really should have waited another year. So then again, let's go back. My husband says, you really need to train more, you know, run more for this. And I was like, wait a minute. You were on the verge of divorcing me when I was training for Marine Corps. Now you want me to run another marathon? I mean, I want to run another marathon, but I don't know. And he said, well, this gives you purpose. This makes you happy. You know, this keeps you going. This challenges you. You really enjoy it. You come back home with a smile on your face. You leave the house with a smile on your face. And when you don't run, you're in a bad mood. You miss like a training run or so. Yeah, if you want to run another marathon, you can run as many races as you want. As long as you're not talking about running all the time in the house, which I typically don't. I don't talk about running unless I must. So I try to be very, you know, I try not to push my running to other people who don't want to hear about it. So, and now I have a good crowd of running friends who actually support me and that I can text or talk about a training run if it was not a good training run. I have my YouTube channel in which I share with you guys what's going on. So that's a good way not to have to push your running tips to other people who really are not runners. They don't want to hear about it. So, I mean, they may want to hear about how a race went, but they don't want to hear about your run, your races and your training runs all the time. So yeah, guys, that's how I went from couch to running a full marathon in a year. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll be happy to answer. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a coach, but anything that you're curious about hearing, just post your questions below. I'll answer them. I'm really good about getting back to you guys. So you can also follow me on Instagram. On Instagram, you see more about my actual day-to-day runs and other things that I do, generally in my quote-unquote normal life. So yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed coming with me. I'm gonna check right now how I did with this training run. I have to run back home. It's another 8-minute running home, and I just take it easy. And yeah, I hope you come back for more videos like this one. Run fearless, you guys. See you soon.